Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to be replacing my thermostat. Now, the problem with the current thermostat is it's now all over the place. When there's a call for heat, sometimes it doesn't do anything. Sometimes it heats up too much. So it's at the point where the thermostat needs to be replaced. Now, like with anything else electronic, nothing will last forever. Now, besides replacing the thermostat, I'm also going to go into a little bit of detail about the furnace. So when you guys look at your furnace, you have a better idea of what you're looking at. This won't have anything to do with the actual replacement of the thermostat, but the more knowledgeable you are, the better odds you are to troubleshoot your own problems in the future. So what we'll do now is material and tools. All right, this is the materials list. So this is the thermostat that I'm going to replace the current one. I believe it's an exact replacement. This is a low-end simple model. I like simple stuff. But this is what I'm going to replace the current thermostat with. So what we'll do now is the tools list. All right, this is the tools list. So I have a multi-bit screwdriver. I probably only need the Phillips. And then a small flathead. Now you need to get a flathead that has a narrow end because the connections for the wires are fairly small. If you use a regular size flathead, it's going to be too big. This is our tools list, so let's get started. Alright, I'm going to shut the breaker off for the furnace, and that is this one here. Alright, so for our furnace, this here is line voltage, so this is 120 volts. This is the same as an outlet that you'd find throughout the house. The box here would normally have a switch. They didn't install the switch for whatever reason. I guess they just thought they'd go off the breaker. And then this here, this is the thermostat wire. So this is the original wire here, and then this is the thermostat wire that they connected back into it. So the thermostat wire is 24 volts. This little one here is 24 volts, and then we have line 120 coming into the furnace. So what I'm going to show you now is the parts of this furnace. Alright, so for our furnace, we have our gas coming into our gas valve. The gas rail goes down into the burner assembly that is down here. So when there's a call for heat, this damper will open to allow air to come in. So if you guys don't actually want to shut the breaker off, if you don't know what it is or for whatever reason, because this is only 24 volts, this end switch here, when the cover's on, it'll depress the end switch. If you don't have the cover on and this end switch is not depressed, the furnace will never start. It's a safety feature. So if your furnace is not turning on, make sure that the cover, which is right here, has been installed to close the end switch here. So we have our board down here. This is our thermostat wire, so it goes into the terminals. So the black is R, the W is white. So for every electrical appliance, they have a wiring diagram. That's what this is here. So there's the step-down transformer for line voltage going into the step-down transformer. And that is this right here. It's in the back there that you probably are not going to be able to see. So behind the jumbly of wires, behind the fuse at the bottom there, that is where the transformer is. So that will change 120 volts down into 24 volts. Alright, so starting from the top down, our heat exchanger is here. This is the exhaust. The air plenum goes above it. Our gas comes over, so we have our unit, our appliance shut off there. Our heat exchanger is here. The gas valve is here. The gas rail goes into the burner assembly that is down here, so this will open. We got our controller here, and then our board down here, and then at the very bottom we have our blower motor. So this is the filter that you're going to need to change depending on the conditions of your house. It could be a month or a few months. The blower, so it's going to suck air in here and then push air all the way up here across the heat exchanger, and then the air will go into the air plenum and be circulated throughout the house. Alright, so this is our thermostat keypad. So we have the faceplate on the top. The reason that you can still see stuff on the LCD is because it has a battery backup. So pull from the bottom to remove the faceplate from the back plate. Alright, so this is our back plate here. So we have a jumper between R and RC. We have one wire that goes here, one wire that goes here. If you're unsure, just take a picture so there's no guesswork, so you don't install the new thermostat backwards. Now, a very common thing that you're going to also run into is people will just paint here, paint everything. They will paint this thing so much that this thing is actually, once you take these two screws out, this thing will be still attached to the wall. So what you can do is take a knife and then score the very back here to get the plate off the wall without taking some of the paint with you. Because if you tear something off, like out here, now you're gonna have to go back and repaint it if it's not the same color. Okay, so to disconnect the wires, all you do is take a small flat screwdriver and then undo both contacts. It doesn't matter which one you do first. So the one with the tape is on the right. So we'll pull that out. Now one other thing is, you notice how thin the wires are. That's because this is a 24 volt setup. And then we'll take off the screws. The screws are more than likely just anchored in with plastic anchors. I mean, there's no stress on this. So we have our anchors in. This is from a thermostat before. And then once again, we have two thin wires. This was the R. This was the W. So if you wanted to, you can paint this as well. There's no damage. If, for example, that you have a lot of damage going outwards, what you can do is take a cover from a 2-gang switch, a cover plate, go over, screw it in, and then you can put your new plate back on top of that, and that'll cover any damage on the outside. Alright, this is the old thermostat. This is the new one. The new one comes with stickers to label what wire goes what. I only have 2 wires, so that's not really an issue. The bottom plate is the old one, the top plate is the new one. Once again, this is an identical replacement, so everything should work out the way it is. And then you also get screws with anchors. So the screws and anchors I can reuse because there's nothing that is going to be different with dimensions for the new thermostat from the old one. So flipping the 2 over, the batteries are still good. I already tested them. So we'll pull the batteries out. And now what I'm going to do is mount the new back plate. Okay, so I'm going to loosen off the R. And then the W. Okay, so with those loosened off, I will slide the wires into the hole here. And then I would suggest attach the 2 screws into the anchors first. That way the plate will be solid. Okay, so pull the wires out. Slide them in through the hole. and I'll put the screws into the anchors. Alright, with the faceplate back on. So the wire with the tape went to the red, and then the other wire went to the W. So back off the screw, make sure that it's backed off, and then put the wire in through the top of the hole, and then tighten it back down. Give it a tug. And give that a tug. Push the wires back in. So this is our faceplate. It has the pins down here at the bottom. So for this faceplate, there's two tabs up here. Hook them onto the two tabs and then push. With that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and turn the breaker back on and then set the thermostat. For setting the thermostat, just read what the instructions say for your particular model. Alright, now I'll turn power back on to the furnace. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So replacing your thermostat is fairly straightforward. I only have 2 wires. If you have more wires, take a picture. They should be color coded to where they go, but as I've said in my other videos, sometimes things get miswired or they're not installed correctly from previous. But by taking a picture, at least you'll know how it was done before, so you can just follow what was there. The time on this job. The time was about an hour. I didn't run into any problems. This was straightforward. I would say take the opportunity to inspect your 24-volt wires, because these are small wires, and I mean, as they get older, like anything else, they can become brittle. So it is better to address any issues now than waiting down the road, because you may forget. The cost of this job. The thermostat was $45. Now, this is a low-end thermostat. It's fairly basic. It's not the cheapest thing on the shelf, but you can get all sorts of thermostats, multi-stage, heating, cooling, and all sorts of stuff. But in my case here, this was a $45 thermostat, and I didn't need anything else. Guys, I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.